Hey guys, Carol here with the Lighthouse at Grace. I am here today to recommend a documentary for you to watch. It's called Nefarious, Merchant of Souls, and it is produced by a wonderful organization, nonprofit organization / ministry called Exodus Cry. And so that's Exodus, like in the Bible, the book of the Bible, Exodus. And so you can find the documentary and more information about Exodus Cry at their website, exoduscry.com, and they also have a YouTube channel, Exodus Cry. So that's where I watched it, is on their YouTube channel. But just a little side note, this is not to be confused with the horror film that came out a few years ago about the demon-possessed guy in prison who, I think he had murdered someone, and basically the whole movie is his interview with like the prison psychologist. So this is something totally different, because when I have recommended this to people, they're like, oh yeah, I watched that movie. And it's like, no, it's a documentary. So there's a movie, which is awesome. It's called Nefarious. And then this documentary is Nefarious, Merchant of Souls. So my first experience watching this documentary was about 6 years ago when I first learned about trafficking. And so back then I just, I still can't believe that it happens, but back then I was just brand new, to learning about it. And I was just watching documentaries and researching it like crazy. And I came across this documentary. And what happened when I watched it for the first time was I literally sat on my couch and bawled. I wailed like a wounded animal, and just couldn't believe it. And so as a result of that, I just was, I've kind of been like Chicken Little this whole time, since learning about it. Is you've got to learn, what this crime is, what it's all about, so you can keep your children and grandchildren safe. And I just started passing flyers out to people at my church with, the information for them to watch it. And you know what? Not a lot of people got back to me that they had watched it, but a couple did. And the ones that did get back to me said, you know what? They bawled their face off too. So I hope you will watch it. And they don't want to give you any spoilers. I want you to just watch it for yourself. But this one quote that they state at the very end of the documentary is, "The crisis of modern day sex slavery does not need interested observers. It needs incurable fanatics." So the very first time that I heard that, of course, it just struck me, because I thought, wow, I think that's what I am, as an incurable fanatic. Well, 6 years later, I can say, yes, I'm an incurable fanatic. And in the time that I've been doing this, which is raising awareness, educating, training children, youth, parents, I can say, yes, I'm an incurable fanatic. And the number of fellow incurable fanatics that I have met in the last 6+ years has been very small. There's not a lot of us out there, and I do pray that that changes, that more people will get on fire for for the Lord, for his precious gospel, for his word, and want to fight this evil of human trafficking. So wanted to just leave you with just a little bit of education here before I get off of here. But as far as this modern day sex slavery crisis, do we have a selling problem? Because I think people think we have a selling problem. We do have a selling problem, but really we have a buying problem, because there are people that want to purchase children for sex. Now, why do we have a buying problem? Because we have a porn problem. And the fact that we have a porn problem leads to people having an out of control sexual desire problem. And when people have an out of control sexual desire problem, they can no longer just watch the acts on the screen. They have to then perpetrate those acts onto someone, usually a child. And so we have a child rape problem. We have a child molestation problem. We have a child sexual assault problem. And so people that have these desires that are out of control, I would say we have a theft problem, because then they think that they can just purchase a child and take what is not theirs. And that's a theft problem. And so just think about that person that has these desires. When they don't have access to a child in their circle, what can they do? They can go purchase a child for sex. And that's where the trafficking problem, that's where the two intersect, the seller and the buyer. And that innocent, vulnerable child is stuck in the middle, having basically their spirit ripped away from them. Like I said, a theft problem. And the root of this whole problem is explained right here in the Holy Bible, because we have a spiritual problem. And I wanted to read a little bit of scripture to you before I end this video. And this is in James chapter 1. It's verses 12 through 17. So I'm going to go ahead and read that to you. So James chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. So that's it for today. Stay tuned for more education, and I just pray you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Now time to go watch Nefarious, Merchant of Souls. You guys have a blessed day. Thanks for watching this.